Good morning. I call this hearing to order. My name is Troy Hawk. I am legal counsel for the Nebraska Department of Education, and I will be presiding officer conducting the hearing virtually today on April 27th, 2026, using Zoom on the proposed revisions to Title 92, Nebraska Administrative Code, Chapter 11, or Rule 11, regulations for the approval of pre-kindergarten programs established by school boards or educational service units, and for the issuance of early childhood education grants. The legal notice of hearing was published for this hearing in the Omaha World Herald on March 27th, 2026. To begin the hearing on Rule 11, a Nebraska Department of Education staff member will describe and explain the proposed rule. This will be followed by testimony by interested persons. Each person presenting written or oral testimony is requested to state and spell your first and last name and provide a general indication of where you live. City, county, or school district is sufficient. Then state a concise suggestion or recommendation of what action you would like the board to take, and state a rationale or reason for your recommendation. You may reinforce, but please refrain from repeating previous testimony. Each person testifying will be limited to 5 minutes. If additional time is needed, it may be provided at the discretion of the presiding officer. At the conclusion of all testimony from interested persons, the Nebraska Department of Education staff member who opened on the rule will have the opportunity to respond to the testimony presented today, which will conclude the testimony. The testimony presented will be recorded, and the audio recording will be made available to the State Board of Education and the public via YouTube at the time the State Board considers the adoption of this rule. All written testimony must be submitted to the hearing officer prior to 5 p.m. today in order to be made a part of the record of this hearing. The email for submitting written comments is nde.rulehearings@nebraska.gov. That is nde.rulehearings@nebraska.gov. This email address may also be found on the department's website at www.education.ne.gov by following the rules and regulations link on the right side of the page to the public notices of upcoming rule hearings. At this time, we will begin the hearing on Rule 11, regulations for the approval of pre-kindergarten programs established by school boards or educational service units, and for the issuance of early childhood education grants, with Melody Hobson from the Nebraska Department of Education describing and explaining the proposed revisions. Melody, you may begin.
A summary of the substantive changes from the current rule contained in the draft rule revision include revising the definition of a pre-kindergarten program to be inclusive of kindergarten-eligible children, counting the time for required home visits as instructional time, including the requirement that curriculum be consistent with the science of reading, provides that suspension of pre-kindergarten children is governed by Nebraska Revised Statute 79265.01, simplifying the Rule 11 teacher waiver process, and adding a category of classroom staffing entitled teacher assistant for preschool classrooms, before and after school, and in infant and toddler classrooms under some conditions.
Thank you, Melody. This time I would open the floor to public testimony. Last call for public testimony.
Hello. How are you all this morning?
Gwen, are you speaking?
Yes, my name is Gwen Easter. I didn't know that we were going to start with public testimonies. I wanted to, is this the time I can ask some questions?
There will be no questions answered today. This is just for the submission of public testimony.
Okay. Okay, well, I would like to begin with sharing a little history. In 2007, when the Head Start program began in schools, there was no effect on family child care homes in the school areas. The Federal Department of Health and Human Services told NDA school systems if they didn't bring up their numbers of children, or they were at risk of losing federal dollars. In 2012, the University of Nebraska Susie Buffett Early Childhood teamed up to push the cradle to career vision to have school systems to be the hub of early childhood education and the purpose-built model for apartment development. An idea modeled after Tom Cousins' Atlanta vision of 1995. The University of Nebraska Buffett Early Childhood Institute was created in 2011. NDA and Namaha Public School Systems took all Head Start pre-K and school age before and after school programs and consolidated them into the schools programs with the sole intent to keep funding and neglectfully began monopolizing North Omaha family home daycares to remove children from established licensed family home daycares in the area. This was done without contacting any existing programs or providing justification of the need for an early childhood education program and the purpose of serving areas as required by NAC 9211 Rule 11 solely to maintain their funding sources. In Appendix B, page 3 of 14 program planning, since your goal is to eliminate, remove the following is being removed from the regulations. Is there any place in the regulations that address the planning documentation required for programs according to the federal law? And who were the daycares that you contacted from 2015 to now? Where's those documents and how can we locate those? And since you all are changing, removing you know, the requirements for teachers, where would those documents be placed for review, and where are the past applications and the daycares that you spoke to? Because in my area, no one spoke to me about any of the programs that were required. You all were required to meet with daycares in our areas. And as a result of this whole matter, we've lost thousands of daycares in our community. So those are my questions pertaining to Appendix B. And I'm not for sure when or who is supposed to answer those questions. So I'd like to find the written plans and the coordination efforts to meet these requirements, and who is monitoring the requirements. Also,
30 seconds left, Ms. Easter.
Also, I'd like to know, how do we know whether or not teachers would, aides or teachers would get their degrees in 4 years? Who's going to monitor to make sure that those happen? Because when they first started, there were people just with GEDs anyway working in those classrooms, and that's my my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Easter, I have a few clarifying questions. Can you spell your first and last name for me, just so I have it correct for the record?
Hey.
I'm sorry, I can't. You're breaking up. Can you say that again?
My name is spelled GWENEASTER.
Okay. And can you tell me generally where you're from?
I'm from North Omaha.
North Bend?
North Omaha.
North Omaha. Okay.
That's where my daycare is located, Safe Haven Early Childhood Preschool Education Academy.
Okay. And as I mentioned before, we won't be answering any questions, but you can submit your questions to us at the email address I provided before.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Did you repeat that email?
Yes, it's NDE
Mm-hmm.
dot rule hearings at nebraska.gov.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to provide testimony this morning?
I would like to.
Yes, Ms. Ricker, go ahead.
My name is Kimberly Ricker. It's KIMBERLYRICKER. I am a family childcare home provider in Omaha. I've been licensed for the past 35 years. And then I just start. Sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead. Thank you.
In the proposed regulations, I see that the school system may ask for waivers listing each staff member that does not hold a valid certificate or permit to teach. I was wondering, how does removing these qualifications from the teachers benefit the infants or preschool children in care in any of the Rule 11 schools? And how can the department justify the quality of care being provided if a waiver is procured? I also noticed that in the waiver, all you have to submit is a job posting applications, the resume, and a copy of course study showing that you can obtain your education within the next 4 years. But they've moved that from 30 days to 90 days. I don't know why that should take so much time. And the board then can renew that waiver annually, and it can be renewed indefinitely. So there's just a cycle of non-compliance, and it just keeps going, which is kind of troubling. Why would the department need an additional 60 days to provide that? The teacher's assistant on page 16 of 005.05B the teacher assistant can serve children younger than age 3, and they may carry out daily activities in the classroom if a certified teacher is assigned to the class during normal hours and plans teaching activities with the teaching assistant. Since the certified teacher does not have to be present in the classroom at any time during the day, just assigned to a classroom to help with planning, which does not in any way ensure the quality of care of children in these programs, how does the department justify this change as being in the best interest of the children? This assignment is not limited to one classroom, so how many classrooms may one certified teacher be assigned to, and how does the school monitor this? Background checks. On page 19, can anyone in the hearing explain why any program staff, regardless of whether or not they are required to hold a teaching certificate, which would include all of those who are covered under the waiver, who have contact with children, are not required to have a fingerprinted background check, as well as the central registry and protective services check? We are really moving backwards in regards to the safety and well-being of our youngest children if they are put in the school districts. Child staff ratios and group sizes on 005.06. The assistant or teacher, the programs where children nap, teachers or teachers' assistants may be out of the room during that nap period as long as the children are adequately supervised by other staff. That's not defined. And the teacher assistant, where in the regulations of childcare ratios and staffing is it allowable to remove all qualified teachers or assistants and replace it with general underqualified staff people just because it is nap time? Does this staff person need to be background checked as well or have any other qualifications? Teaching assistants are just pawns for the certified teachers who are never actually in the rooms with the children. They may have no experience or knowledge-based training. They are not required to have fingerprinted background checks. It's like putting your kid in Walmart for childcare. The only thing that they are providing are walls and hoping the kids don't get hurt. This department has
1 minute. 1 minute left.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The only thing they are Okay, the department has created a corporation to monetize and monopolize childcare for their own benefit. The money they are using to do this are the funds that were supposed to go to the private childcare providers to continue to provide quality care, and instead they are stealing the children from the private providers with less than quality staff and excessive turnover, which is the detriment to all the children in these programs. Family childcare homes could never offer free childcare without grants and government funding. But what we do offer is intentional interaction with each and every child in our program, low ratios, and exceptional quality with our own creative resources. Using the words continuity when referring to Rule 11 does not mean continuity of care, which family care providers provide unequivocally, but references continuity with regard to the programs that they use, which, if these regulations are approved, benefit no children at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ricker. Is there anybody else that would like to provide public testimony? Yeah, I see a few more people that are on the line. If you wish to provide public testimony, please unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, I see no more public testimony. Melody, is there anything you would like to add at this time? You're muted.
Always. At this time, no. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And as a reminder, if you would like, for those of you who provided testimony today, if you were reading off of a script, you can go ahead and submit that to us at that email address as well. But either way, your testimony will either be in the recording here or via written testimony. So this closes the hearing on the proposed revisions to Rule 11. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance, and have a good day.